It was just a normal day in England, an average day of the war. Little did these two Lancasters know they had big events ahead of them. The little Lancasters knew that if they flew really high, Jerry will be there to greet them. So if they sneak down low, they won't get spotted. Flying just at the height of the tree tops, they prayed that Jerry will be skulking in the clouds and not notice them. Halfway to their targets, they started getting nervous. They knew they would be entering enemy territory soon. To cheer himself up, the little Lancaster decided to take out some of his frustration on a ground unit. The little Lancaster was getting scared. He couldn't see any friendly allies around. All he could see was his other Lancaster friend. There was no fighter escort for these little Lancasters. The little Lancaster could see 109s and Focke-Wulfs flying above them, but luckily they were not spotted. It was time now for the Lancasters to split up and take on their each individual targets. One base down. Two bases down. There was only a third base to go. This little Lancaster was feeling rather confident. He had made it all the way to the enemy's bombing point without being intercepted. Then disaster struck. After just dropping his bombs, a shell hit directly into the front of the plane, killing the front gunner, damaging the engines and the wings. This was very bad. The little Lancaster set a course to home. He needed to get back to base, but he didn't know if he could make it. The other Lancaster knew that he should catch up with his friend, who was in trouble and needed to be covered. The little Lancaster was having trouble staying in the sky. His engines weren't working properly, they were overheating, they were damaged and they were seizing up. He flew through the trees and the branches, smashing them to pieces, but in the wild taking more and more damage. But luckily he was able to find the willpower to keep on going. By this time, the Lancasters realized they were the last two members on their team, and they were totally and utterly alone in enemy territory. But they had killed all three bombing points. There was no other places left to bomb other than the one main point, the enemy airfield. So with that news, it spirited the Lancasters, and they both decided to land. The first one to land at the friendly base came down nice and gently. Plop. On the other hand, the little Lancaster came down less gracefully. Bop, bop, bop. 3 bounces. But he didn't crash, and so the Lancasters waited to get refitted, repaired and rearmed. They were ready for this. They felt they could do this. They knew that if they could just kill the enemy's airfield, they would be heroes. The little Lancaster was feeling more confident in himself. He wasn't the little Lancaster no more. He was the brave Lancaster. Taking direct hits from small arm fire, he knew that he could take them. He didn't care no more. He wasn't scared. But what he didn't realize was that the AA was doing much more than damaging him. It was giving away his position. Jerry looked above. He spotted the smoke clouds. He knew something was down there. He dived. The little Lancaster spotted the 109, but there was nothing he could do. He evaded the first burst, but he couldn't avoid the second burst. And off came the tail. In an uncontrollable spin, the Lancaster fell ungracefully out of the sky. The little Lancaster's friend, distraught, tried his hardest to fight off the 109, giving it all he got. But it wasn't enough. His tail was shed off too. And you can guess what happened next.
Just master race things, just master race things, just master race things, you know, just master race things.
Like, comment and subscribe, or I'll break your f***ing legs.
Nigel, the co-pilot, had survived, along with the rear gunner, and they were pissed. Fighting their way all the way from Germany, back to France, through France and into Calais, they managed to cross the channel back again to Britain, and were in a Lancaster within the next couple of weeks, preparing for a daylight bombing raid over Berlin.